Hello and welcome to Cupcake Addiction's Rainbow Oreo Cookie Jar tutorial, where I'll be showing you how to take the simple Oreo cookie and turn it into this gorgeous rainbow cookie jar delight, the perfect favour for almost any occasion to give to your guests or to your friends. Tools and equipment that we will be using today. I've got just a regular knife. You do want to try and get a knife with a relatively flat edge on it, so it doesn't necessarily have to be a sharp one, but just try and get a knife that's relatively thin. I've got my Oreo cookies. I've got a jar, so you can use a mason jar. This one's not quite a mason jar. It's got a bit of an indented lid. I will mention I would have preferred to have got the ones that did not have the indented lid, that had more of a screw-on lid, just because you can fit an extra Oreo in those ones. This one here, I've got to leave space for the Oreo cookie, so I missed out on one of my colours. I've got my frosting. Now I've used our perfectly pipeable buttercream frosting in vanilla, and you can see here I've just coloured it using either liquid or colour paste, it really doesn't matter. And I've just picked 5 or 6 different colours of the rainbow and coloured it in, mixed it all through, and then I've spooned that frosting into 5 separate Ziploc bags, and I've just trimmed a little corner off. There's no exact measurement here, it doesn't have to be precise, but it's just fashioned it into a little bit of a piping bag for us. I've got your little keep calm and eat cookies tag. So you can see here I've added that to the front of our little rainbow cookie jar. That's totally optional. You can obviously put whatever you like on the front of your cookie jar, but I just created that template for you guys, and I will leave a link to that in the description box below. So to get started, you want to split your Oreo cookies. Now I had a little bit of trouble here and I found a lot of my Oreo cookies broke. So I've pre-split them and I've scraped off that cream inside. When you split your cookies, I know it says to twist them on the packet, but every time I twisted one, it broke. So you can see there, I think I must have gotten a couple of packets that had been dropped. Basically, you want to cut it in half and you want to scrape off that excess cream. So you end up with quite a few that you're going to eat. I know that me and my son will be eating cookies and cookie crumbs for quite some time, but basically you want to do that and you want 5 or 6 cookies, but it's going to vary depending on the size of the cookie jar that you've got. So for me, 5 is perfect for this size cookie jar. This is a really, really simple tutorial. We're going to take our cookie. There we go. You don't have to take all of that cookie cream off. Just take as much of it as you can off so that you've got a little bit of space. And then I'm going to take my first colour, so my bottom colour, which for me is going to be blue. And I'm just going to make a little sort of a swirl on the Oreo. Bring it out, not quite all the way to the ends, but you do want to keep it relatively even in that Oreo. And you can see that sort of a thickness that I've gone with there. It's about a little bit thicker than a regular Oreo cream. So when you take your Oreo top, stick it on top, and you just want to sort of evenly squish it together. Now, if you put too much cream, you're going to end up with cream sort of spilling over the sides, and you don't want that in this jar. So you can see that as I squeeze it, I'm turning it around so that I can even up where that cream is, I guess, squishing out. And you've got there a really nice sort of an even Oreo cream. So now, to get it in your jar, the first one, because it's got the furthest to travel, I find it easiest to turn the jar upside down and just sort of lift it in there and let it go. The next ones we're just going to drop in. So we're going to repeat that process with our next colour, which for me is going to be green. If you love this tutorial, make sure that you head on over to our channel, MyCupcakeAddiction. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see more from us. We've got so many great rainbow themed and everything else that you can imagine. Cupcakes, cake pops, and cake decorating tutorials. There's our green ready to go. So to drop that into the cookie jar, you just want to drop it. If perchance it comes in and it's not completely flat, use your knife just to tilt it a little bit, but try not to let that frosting touch the edges of the jar. You really want to try and keep the frosting inside the Oreos, and you don't want them messing up the nice edges of your clean, clear jar. So we're just going to repeat that with our other colours, moving on now to yellow. Now you don't have to do this in a rainbow pattern, you could do it in an ombre, so graduating colours of, say, blues for a little boy's baby shower or pinks for a little girl's. There's our final colour, that red, and in it goes on top. So if you look at the sides of that cookie jar, have a look at that. It's a simple Oreo cookie, it's a completely no-bake recipe, and it's really effective. Now I've just finished my jar off with a little bit of ribbon. You can see I've gone yellow on that one, orange on this one, and I will likely do all the different colours of the rainbow as far as that ribbon goes. Pop your lid on the jar And if you've chosen to go with that little optional tag, I just printed mine out on a bit of sticky label. So I think we call them mailing labels here in Australia. And just stick it on top, nice and scented. So there you've got your gorgeous little rainbow Oreo cookie jars, the perfect favours or gifts for your guests. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope that you'll love making these rainbow cookie jars for your friends and family. Thanks very much for watching.